She looked him straight in the eye and said, "You don't have to love me." The cowboy didn't raise his voice. He didn't smile. He leaned closer and whispered, "Too late." And in that moment, she realized she'd just awakened a past buried deeper than the desert itself, a love that could either save her life, or destroy them both. If you love slow burn romance, forbidden love, and stories that twist your heart when you least expect it, subscribe now and turn on notifications, because this story doesn't get softer. It gets dangerous. The first thing Clara Bennett noticed about the town was how quiet it was, not peaceful, not calm, but watchful. Silence here didn't rest, it waited. Like the land itself was holding its breath, judging whether she belonged. The second thing she noticed was the man leaning against the corral fence, hat pulled low, shoulders broad enough to block the sun, eyes following her like he already knew how this would end. She told herself she was imagining it. Clara had crossed 2 states to get here, traded skyscrapers and subway noise for dust and sky, and promised herself this was temporary. 6 months. That was the deal. Restore her grandmother's failing ranch, sell it, and go back to a life where people didn't stare like they were measuring your soul. But the land had other plans. The ranch sat at the edge of nowhere, sun-bleached wood sagging under years of neglect, fences broken, windmills creaking like tired bones. Clara stepped out of the car, boots sinking into dirt that felt older than memory. She inhaled sharply, not prepared for how the air smelled. Dry, sharp, honest. No perfumes. No lies. "You must be Bennett's girl." The voice came from behind her, low and rough like gravel dragged across silk. She turned slowly. The cowboy tipped his hat just enough for his eyes to catch the light. Ethan Cole. Everyone in town knew that name. They said it like a warning. "I'm Clara," she said, forcing confidence into her voice. "And I don't need help." He studied her for a beat too long, gaze moving from her city jacket to her hands, soft, uncalloused, unprepared. "That's so?" he asked. "Because this land eats people who say that." She bristled. "I didn't come here to be scared off." His mouth twitched, not quite a smile. "Good. Fear keeps you alive." From the start, everything about Ethan Cole contradicted itself. He was quiet but intense, distant yet constantly present. He fixed her broken fence without asking, brought water when her well failed, disappeared for days and returned with bruises he never explained. The town treated him like a ghost, acknowledged but never questioned. Clara told herself she didn't care. But nights were long out here, and loneliness had a way of whispering louder after sunset. She learned things by watching him. How he spoke to horses like they were people. How his hands steadied anything they touched. How his eyes hardened when someone mentioned her grandmother's name. "You knew her," Clara said one evening, sitting on the porch as the sky burned orange. Ethan didn't answer right away. "Everyone knew your grandmother," he said finally. "Some owed her. Some hated her. Which were you?" He met her gaze then, something unreadable flickering behind his eyes. "Both." The first real twist came on a stormless night when Clara couldn't sleep. She wandered into the old barn, flashlight cutting through dust and shadow. That's when she found the locked trunk hidden beneath rotting hay. Inside were letters. Dozens of them, written in Ethan's handwriting, but dated 30 years ago. Her breath caught as she read the first line. "If you ever find these, Clara, I failed to protect what mattered most." Her knees gave out, because the next letter wasn't addressed to her. It was addressed to her mother. And the final letter ended with a confession that shattered everything she believed about her family, the ranch, and the man who kept pretending he was just a neighbor. When she confronted Ethan, her voice shook with fury and fear. "You lied to me," she said. "You knew my family. You knew everything." His jaw tightened. "I knew enough to stay away." "Then why didn't you?" Because he was already close, closer than she realized. "You don't have to love me," she said, desperate to regain control. "Whatever this is, it stops now." Ethan leaned in, his voice barely louder than the wind. Too late. And that was the moment Clara understood. This wasn't a love story that began here. It was one that had been waiting.